Yo, welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to talk about 3 mistakes that some of you might be making in your mixing, and hopefully this video can help you with those issues. And I actually have been making these same mistakes, and I learned from these mistakes myself when working on my music. So let's jump into the first one. The first one is not analyzing frequencies before you EQ. So what I mean by that is that sometimes most people just use their ear to EQ sounds and that kind of thing, but sometimes your ears will, depending with the kind of ear training you have and the kind of mood you're in, or even the headphones that you're using or the speakers that you're using, the representation of frequencies might be different. So sometimes something might sound like it has a lot of low end or a lot of high frequencies, when in actual fact it's not like that. It's not really feeling like that in the DAW level. So what I mean by that is, if you go on, like, let's say you pick a sound. Let's say if I pick a sound like if I pick this sound here, or if I pick this one, I think this one is perfect. What I can do now with this sound is, if I pick a sound like this one here and I send it to a mixer track like this, and I just send it to a mixer track like that. If I'm now starting to mix the sound, and if I feel like maybe it needs some adjustment with some EQ, what I want to do first is I want to add to analyze the frequencies first to confirm what I'm hearing. So I can add an EQ like this. Like, some EQs can show you frequencies and show you what's going on in the frequencies. Like, I can see the frequencies here. So if I was feeling like it has a lot of high mid presence, then I can confirm it by seeing. Then I can turn those frequencies down. If I feel like I'm hearing some low end frequencies that I didn't want them to be there, then I can confirm by seeing. And this was something that I wasn't doing, so I would just end up EQing without actually seeing what exactly I was doing. So this EQ can be just for analysis, and then I can also add an EQ for like the finer adjustments, and then I can have both EQs open at the same time, and then one is for the adjustments and one is for analysis, unless if you do have a frequency analysis plugin that you use to kind of look at your frequencies and things like that. So one I can use for analysis and one I can use for everything like that. So I can just start doing my EQing. You know, I'm just doing random stuff here, and you can see the frequencies down here are changing, so I can see exactly what I'm doing. So if you do your EQ and you cut out, and or even if you're boosting or doing whatever, you can have one where you're seeing what you're doing, and one where you're actually, you know, just checking out what's going on. So it's something that you want to do. It's up to you how you want to do this, but what I'm trying to say is try and analyze the frequencies first and confirm what you're hearing first. I'm not saying don't trust your ears or don't trust your speakers or your headphones, but I'm just saying that confirm. It helps to just confirm visually by using a frequency analyzer, just to see before you do any adjustments, to confirm that what you're about to do, is it correct or is it wrong. Because if you have speakers that have a lot of like high end or treble or bass or something like that, they can be exaggerating, but the sound itself doesn't have that much bass, and then you just mess up your mix and start messing up your sounds, right? So I'm just gonna delete these, and then we're gonna move on to the next tip. The next thing is not automating your effects. What I mean by that is that sometimes the sounds that you use have effects, right? And if you don't automate your effects, your sound just sounds like it's not dynamic. It doesn't move in the track as it's going. So sometimes you want to automate your effects. Like if I pick a sound like this one here, right? It sounds pretty cool. And if I bring back some of the drums just for context, it sounds really good. But if I go into my plugin like this one here, you can see that it has these 2 effects. It has a delay and it has a reverb, but you also have these mix knobs here. So what I can do is I can also kind of automate these mix knobs here. A lot of people don't do this, and this helps you in your mixing as well. You might want to, you know, intensify these mixes and also just lower them at certain points. Like when your track is at a like a place where there's like a lot happening, sometimes you might want to take, you know, just lower down the mix a little bit, so you can just create an automation clip like that, and you know, just play around with your automation like that, so that it kind of goes in and out and just kind of intensifies and goes down like that. But if you do have effects, like let's say for instance, if you're using a certain sound that does have like let's say if I pick this sound right here, and this sound is on the mixer, if I go to the mixer and I send it to the mixer right here, so what I can do is I can turn these off and I can send it to a mixer like that. And if I add an effect like over here, like let's say for instance I add a reverb, if I add a reverb right here, I can automate the wet, right? So I can create an automation clip for the wet so that it plays around, it moves, so that this effect it can intensify when I want it to intensify, and then I can lower the intensity when I want it to be lower, so that it moves, it doesn't just stay the same all the time, right? And this is also leading to like the last important thing that I wanted to talk about, is most of these plugins, they come with effects, and what you want to do with most of these plugins is you want to turn off the effects if you know that you're going to add other effects on top of them. Like for instance, this same plugin that I showed you right here, you saw what I did. I actually turned off the effects of this plugin, right? So if we go back, you can see that I turned off the delay and the reverb. Most plugins come with a delay and the reverb, and even other effects as well. These are the effects that make these presets sound nice to our ear. So if I play this sound without these effects, it sounds like this. It sounds cool, right? And if I go right here where I played around with the mixes here, it sounds good, and without the effects it sounds a little bit more dry. So what you can do is you can turn off the effects like that, and then you can go into your mixer, and then you can start adding those same effects. Like I do have a reverb here, and I can also add a delay. Like I can add a delay 3 like this, and then I can just tweak it. So I'm just going to turn down the wet like that, and I'm going to play with the offset of the delay time, and I can even ping pong it. So sometimes you actually have better control of your delay if you use like a delay plugin. It doesn't have to be like a stock delay plugin. It can be any delay plugin or any plugin that you like to add effects to. And I can even add anything else. Like I could add even an effector to it, so that I can add some other effects. Like if I want to add maybe this lo-fi effect here to change the sound. But if I had left these effects on, like the reverb and the delay, and still added all these effects on the mixer as I'm mixing, it means now I am like layering effects on top of other effects, and if I'm adding also compressors after that, it just destroys the sound and it doesn't do a good job. So I can even do this and do that. So if I do this, it means whatever effects I am putting before the compressor are being affected by the compressor. So that's something that you also just want to make sure that you don't do. So a compressor is something that I might want to, you know, make sure that I put at the beginning of my chain, and turn off all these other effects on the plugin itself. So yes, the preset can come with some effects. Like if I press all these presets, they come with some effects here, but it's always a good idea to just turn them off before you go into mixing. But if you know that you're not really going to add more effects on top of the preset itself, then you can keep this on if you're happy with how they sound, or if you're okay with just making sure that you use whatever parameters are on the plugin effects themselves, then you will be okay, then you'll be totally fine. So I hope these few tips that will really help you. If you have any more tips you want to add to this video, you can make sure to drop them down below in the comments. I'd really appreciate you if you subscribe. A lot of people that watch my videos are not subscribed, and I appreciate it if you subscribe. We're headed for 100K. That's a really big goal for the channel that we're pushing to get to. So I really appreciate it if you subscribe, and you can also like the video to help these videos get found by some other people here on YouTube as well, because you know the YouTube algorithm game is crazy right now. YouTube is not pushing a lot of videos to a lot of subscribers and a lot of people, so it would really be helpful. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. I'm X and I'm out. Peace.